Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Siri and today I will be baking a cake from scratch. So I usually use cake mix when I'm making my cakes, but I want today's cake to be special. So I bought all of the individual ingredients. I'm gonna mix everything separately. I'm gonna take my time with it, and I want this cake to be very fluffy, very flavorful, and just super delicious. So keep on watching to see how this cake turns out. For today's vanilla cake, we will need all-purpose flour, room temperature butter, vanilla extract, baking powder and salt, 3 large eggs, and milk. I also want to decorate my cake, so for the buttercream, I will be using some egg whites, sugar, room temperature butter, and vanilla extract. And then I also bought some sprinkles and frosting. I want this cake to look very minimalist and effortless, but behind the scenes, it is gonna take a lot of effort. I'm going to start by greasing and lining my pan. First step is to take some room temperature soft butter and rub it all over the bottom and sides of the pan. I finished dusting the flour all over the surface and dumped out the excess. The next step is to add some parchment paper, and I cut this up to fit the base of my pan. I'm going to add some butter to the sheet, then I will place it in the pan and then add some flour on top of that. Both of the pans are greased and floured, and now I'm going to dig into the ingredients for the cake. This recipe calls for 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. And instead of just scooping up the flour, I'm actually gonna spoon it in because I heard that you get a better measurement that way. And if you actually scoop it up, then you might get too much flour and have a very dry cake. So I'm trying to avoid that. I measured out my flour, and now I'm going to sift it to make sure that it's all smooth. And I'll just be putting it onto some newspaper so it'll be easy to add into a bowl afterwards. And today's newspaper of choice features the COVID-19 vaccine. I added my sifted flour to this bowl, and now I'm going to add 2 1/4 teaspoons of baking soda and then 3/4 teaspoons salt. So I'm putting my flour mixture aside, and now I'm getting started with the wet ingredients. So I have 3/4 of a cup of butter in here, and it's super soft because it's room temperature. And I also have 1 1/2 cup of sugar. I'm going to set my mixer on medium-high and mix these together for about 3 minutes. I mixed away at the mixture of butter and sugar, and now it looks pale and fluffy. So the next step is to add the eggs, and I'm going to add them 1 at a time on low speed, and I'll only add the next egg in once the first one is completely mixed in. The eggs are all mixed in, and the mixture looks so nice and fluffy. I love it. It looks like a cloud. And now I'm going to add 1 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. The wet ingredients are nicely mixed together, and the next step is to add in the flour and the milk. And I heard that it's best to mix them a little bit at a time, so I'm going to do 3 parts of flour and then 2 parts of the milk. So I'm going to start with a part of the flour, make sure that it's mixed in really nicely, follow with the milk, and keep going. The batter is ready. I did do a little taste test and it tastes so good. And now I'm just gonna spoon the batter into the pans. It's so fluffy, wow. The oven has been set for 350 degrees and I'm gonna bake them for about 30 to 35 minutes. While I wait for the cake to bake, I'm gonna get started with the buttercream frosting. For my vanilla buttercream, I'll be starting with 6 egg whites and 1.5 cups of sugar. I'm going to do this next step off camera, but basically I'm going to simmer some water in a pot, and then I'll transfer this mixture into a glass bowl and place it on top of the simmering water. Once I heat up my mixture and melt the sugar, I will be back for the next step. The sugar and egg mixture has been heated over water. Now I'm gonna pour it back into the mixing bowl. I'm gonna mix it together until it cools down and becomes firm. Mixture has now cooled down completely and it's not as liquidy. So the next step is to add 2 cups worth of cubed butter, and I'm going to mix that in. The butter has mixed in very smoothly, and the last step is to add some vanilla extract. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of this. Frosting is pretty much done. I'm gonna chill it in the fridge and check out the cake. The cakes have cooled for about 10 minutes. I left them in the pans and put them on these wire racks. Now I'm gonna turn them out. I have never dealt with a cake where it came out so smoothly. So I guess the grease and flour trick really works. The cakes are pretty cool now, so I'm gonna start decorating. The cake is all done, and I think for my first time baking it from scratch and decorating it, turned out pretty good. I'm happy with the way that it looks, and I'm excited to taste it. Thanks so much for checking out my video today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!